JUND, one of the most famous decks in the history of Magic the Gathering's modern format. It has been around since the beginning of the format, has a die-hard fan base, and is one of the strongest proponents of fair and balanced Magic. It originally started out as a standard deck in the Shards of Alara format, but what if we were to take that deck and apply it to modern day standard? Can we build JUND in standard in modern day? Let's find out now. Hello, A-Person here, and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering Arena video. Today, we're playing Standard JUND. Yes, right, that's JUND deck. A standard version of the most fair and balanced Magic deck of them all. The most fair and balanced modern deck of them all. But, how are we going to play JUND in standard when we don't have stuff like Tarmogoyf, or Liliana the Veiled, or even Bloodbraid Elf? Well, this is where things get a bit awkward because it's not quite as playable as the modern version, but we've still got a few depowered equivalents to various JUND cards currently in standard. And particularly I wanted to try and build a deck around Fiend Artisan, who really hasn't seen much standard play since it came out in Ikoria, and everyone was hyping this up to be the new Tarmogoyf. So I thought, let's build a Tarmogoyf-like deck around Fiend Artisan, because JUND is pretty much the Tarmogoyf deck anyway. So yeah, we've built this standard JUND deck, which is a generic mid-range deck, which has a lot of removal and high-value cards, also a lot of discard effects in the process, and ways to try and take advantage of that discard. Also, we have basically every card in this deck is trying to simulate what a card in the modern JUND deck would actually do. And in some cases, even be that actual card. So we have that as an option too. Anyway, so let's go through the deck profile and I'll explain the card choices and explain what they're supposed to be replacing in some ways. So we have 4 copies of Bloodchief first, just a very awesome generic removal spell. JUND has a lot of 1 mana interaction spells, so this one fit right at home in here. We don't have Fatal Push in standard, so this is the next best choice really. So I went with all 4 copies of this for making sure we kept the same number of removal around. Now, JUND normally plays about 6 discard spells, which includes 4 Inquisition of Kozilek and 2 Thoughtseize, but neither of those cards are in standard, and Thoughtseize being the best one is only available in historic, so I've had to sort of compromise a bit, but I wanted to keep the whole 1 mana discard thing going on. So we have 2 copies of Duress to discard a non-creature, non-land card from it, which doesn't always hit, which is why I'm playing it as a 2 of, but we do have 2 more of it in the sideboard in case we need it to be. And we've got 4 copies of Liliana's Steward, which is a bizarre inclusion, especially considering it doesn't immediately discard and the opponent can remove it if they need be, but often you see a lot of people play tap lands first turn anyway, so you can use Liliana's Steward to sacrifice it and get the opponent to discard a card. It lacks much usefulness later on in the game, admittedly, but we can always discard it with our own effects to help other creatures. Plus, it is an amazing curve where if you go into another card and one of the 2-drop slots, you get to instantly discard a card from your opponent's hand, and that card, of course, being Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger, which is played in actual JUND decks, to be honest, because it's just that good. So turn 1, Liliana's Steward. Turn 2, you sack the Steward, opponent discards a card. Then you use Kroxa to get some discard another card, and suddenly they've already lost 2 cards from their hand they didn't get to play, and you have a massive hand advantage. In some ways, we also try to reduce our opponent's hand size down and get all their stuff into their graveyard. So when this stuff is in the graveyard, we can then use Scavenging Ooze to exile it and exile their creatures, buff the Scavenging Ooze. The Scavenging Ooze is also very good against Dimir Rogues, where we can exile our own graveyard to try and depower the Rogues and remove Death Touch from Thieves Guild Enforcer, but it's that's always been a difficult matchup. It's in theory quite good, especially since we have Kroxa in the deck, but it doesn't always pan out that way. 2 copies of Magmatic Channeler. This is meant to replace Seasoned Pyromancer, who was played in the regular JUND deck, which has considerably more value in terms of the fact that it It has the instant enter the battlefield, discard, draw, where you discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards, and then you create tokens from the effect. But with Magmatic Channeler, it's slightly different in that you have to tap it to discard, then exile 2 cards. So it's a similar draw 2 effect, but we only discard 1. It also gets buffed to +3/+1 when there's at least 4 more instant and sorcery cards in the graveyard, which can work out because we do have 6 of them in here, but it's not going to be something you see too often. Magmatic Channeler is hitting amazing loot. But Bloodchief, Thirst and Duress, if we do use them enough, we can get them in there and pump our Magmatic Channeler. We also have Fiend Artisan, the main card of the deck, and what I want to build around, where he gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. So, as you can see, we are playing quite a few creatures in this deck to try and take advantage of this. We can also sack it and use a Tutor effect to bring stuff out of the deck, but that effect is only going to really be used later on in the game. We're mainly using it for we're mainly playing this card for the first effect, and for it to be the Tarmogoyf of the deck. So, on to the next row of cards, the 3 drops. Bonecrusher Giant is replacing Lightning Bolts because it's just a really good value. It's also a creature, which is kind of important for Fiend Artisan, but removal on a creature is fantastic. This is the most played card in red for Standard for good reason. Although I think Gold Span Dragon may be giving it a run for its money there. We also have 1 copy of Cloths of God of Destiny, which isn't really replacing anything, but it goes amazingly well in this strategy, where you get to exile your opponent's graveyard every single turn, and either deal 2 damage or wrap yourself in the process. So I've only got 1 copy of this card on Arena right now, but it's just so good that I might as well just keep playing it because it just pays off so well. We also have Agadeem's Awakening. Well, only 1 copy of it because it's a 3 colour mana base and I kind of need the multicolours, but this is a really good card anyway to try and get any of our creatures who are in our graveyard, which we no doubt be filling throughout the course of the game, back onto the battlefield, ready to attack. Onto the 4 drops. We have 4 copies of Liliana, Wake of the Dead, who is replacing Liliana, as in Liliana the Veil, the one that has an ultimate which forces your opponent to sacrifice all permanents in a single pile. This one has very similar effects, you must say, because it has the each player discards a card effect, but this one also has each opponent who can't loses 3 life. Now, Liliana Wake of the Dead is 1 mana more than Liliana the Veil is, but is still a really good card. Indeed, it even has a similar removal effect where target creature gains -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. This deck does try to fill its graveyard quite a bit. So yeah, and also we've got the emblem where we can take any creature from any graveyard and put it onto the battlefield. I've taken stuff like Solemn Simia that comes from my opponent's graveyards before with this ultimate, but generally the opponents try to avoid Lily ultimating, so that's just a nice bonus. 1 copy of Immerstern Predator. This is a new card from Kaldheim. It's a vampire dragon with flying 3/3. And whenever it becomes tapped, you get to exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on Immerstern Predator. And if you sacrifice another creature, Immerstern Predator gains indestructible until the end of turn, and you can tap it. This is another payoff card to go alongside our Kroxa. We also have 2 copies of Binding the Old Gods, which is you just get to destroy anything for 4 mana and ramp, searching for a forest card. It doesn't say basic forests, and we'll get to that later. And also, the third one's a nice bonus, but this card does help ramp into 1 particular payoff. We have Nissa of Shadow Bows because there's no real coloured lands in Standard right now that have effects whereby you can turn them into a creature. All of the ones in Standard right now, Faceless Haven and Crawling Barrens to be precise, are colourless, so that really doesn't help in a 3-colour deck where we need to hit our colours rather consistently. So we're using Nissa for this effect instead, and she also gets counters whenever a land comes into the battlefield. But we get to untap our lands, and that helps ramp somewhat to help one of our ultimate payoffs. But we could also turn our lands into 3/3 creatures with menace, so that is nice bonus, especially if our opponent only has 1 blocker. We can attack safely with our lands without worrying about them being removed. And the last non-land card in the deck is Auspicious Starrix. This card is replacing Bloodbraid Elf, but unlike Bloodbraid Elf, we only run it as a 2-of because the mutate effect is really what we want to get off from this, but it's 6 mana, which is very, very expensive. If we do get it off now, we can either get another land into play, or ideally another permanent into play, so we can get stuff like Binding the Old Gods, Liliana, Wake of the Dead, Bonecrusher Giant, Magmatic Channeler, Fiend Artisan, Kroxa, Liliana Steward, maybe not that one, but a lot of value can be from this Auspicious Starrix, and it's the ultimate top end to simulate the Bloodbraid Elf type effects. Because unfortunately Cascade is not in standard right now. So I know Modern Jund does not really have so much of a creature focus, but I had to sort of adjust it slightly to take advantage of Fiend Artisan's effect and have the deck built a bit more properly. Next up, we have 4 copies of Blight Step, Seer Step Pathway for one of our lands. Really good addition from Kaldheim here. I've been waiting to get a proper mana base for this deck for quite some time now, because it's been unplayable for the most part until very, very recently, where we've actually finally got the pathways, and now it's more playable as a result. We have 1 Immerstern Skullcairn, a nice land which synergizes very well with the strategy of this deck, where we get to sacrifice it, deal 3 damage to our opponent, and have the player discard a card. It only works on sorcery speed, but oh well. 3 copies of Temple of Malice, because we do need a few dual lands in this deck, so I put Temple of Malice on here to help scribe things around. So this can really help with escaping Kroxa and getting the right mana base for it. It can also help with Immerstern Predator. We also have 4 Darkboar Sliverboar Pathway for another good addition to the deck from Kaldheim, making it even more playable. We have 4 of the Rakdos and Golgari pathways, because they really, we want to get the black turn 1 if ideal, and then also be able to get into a Kroxa on turn 2 or a Scavenging Ooze. So having a black access is very important, but also access to other colours if needs be. So to that extent, we're only playing 3 Crag Crown Timber Crown pathway, because having the red-green combo is not quite as important in this deck as having the combos with black, although Clothis is something we can play in this deck that we kind of want to get out to, but we can compromise on that front. We have 2 copies of Ketchia Triome. Now, I am playing this over the Gruul Temple because, well, I only have 1 Temple of Abandon, but also because it has the land type of forest in it, so we can get it off Binding the Old Gods and get it into play. Also, we have 4 copies of Zagoth Triumph for a similar reason. I only playing 2 Ketchia Triumph because, again, red-green is not as important combination as others in the deck, so we already have the red-black combination sorted through Temple of Malice, so Zagoth Triumph is going to sort the black-green combination. And finally, we have 1 copy of the World Tree, because when we get to 6 lands, we don't need to worry about our mana fixing too much, because all our lands will tap for any colour of mana. We can't really take advantage of the God effect apart from getting Clothis out, so that's a very situational thing, but the World Tree's just in there for fixing anyway. Onto the sideboard, we have 2 Tormod's Crypt for exercising graveyards. For instance, we might be playing against another deck that's taking advantage of its graveyard, so we can take advantage there. 2 copies of Duress again for non-creature control decks. 4 red cap melee, so if we're facing mono red, we can put this in as a much better, a really good 1-drop removal spell for the deck. Witch's Vengeance for playing against tribal decks. Thrashing Brontodon for destroying artifacts and enchantments. Brankle Master of Pranks, just a very flexible card, and it synergizes well with discard effects. You could be playing the main deck even, but I've got it in the sideboard because I had a lot of cards I wanted to include really. And Ox of Agonis as another payoff for discarding our hand and drawing 3 cards, but it's quite expensive, so I left it in the sideboard for now. So anyway, that is the deck. So let's enter the arena! Okay, we're going first. We have Fiend Artisan, the main card of the deck on board, so I'm going to keep this. We also have Magmatic Channeler as well, but not quite sure about that one yet. Temple of Malice coming down. Another land. We can ramp up to Binding the Old Gods, I think, so. That's the Blight Step pathway. We're going to put the Sliverboar pathway down. And I think we're going to play a Fiend Artisan. Probably should play Magmatic Channeler first, because Fiend Artisan is probably a better later payoff when we have creature cards in our graveyard, but let's see how things go. We have stuff for binding the old gods ready if necessary. Turning mass taps. Scavenging Ooze, nice. Magmatic Channeler coming down. So if they kill anything, they'll probably kill the Fiend Artisan, since killing the Channeler pumps the Fiend Artisan, while killing the Fiend Artisan won't do anything for the Channeler, because this takes Instants and Sorceries and this takes creatures. And it's a freaking Gruul Adventure deck again. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to save our Binding the Old Gods for the Lovestruck Beast when that comes down. So as a result, I'm going to put Immerstern Skullcairn down. Cast a Scavenging Ooze. We want to keep this, I think, so we're going to attack with Magmatic Channeler since it's the only thing that can survive the 1-1. No use activating Fiend Artisan's ability, since we won't get anything out of the ability since there's nothing for X. X would be 0 in this instance. Please play your Lovestruck Beast so I can destroy it. That'd be really useful, thank you. It looks like they're looking at removal, unfortunately. Chance to score smashing for 1 on the Fiend Artisan. Okay. Well, let's see what mana do we have. We'll probably end up sacking the Immerstern Skullcairn later, so I think we need some actual genuine black mana. I'm going to exile the Fiend Artisan from my graveyard. I may come to regret this later, but it's nice thing to have. We're going to go ahead. I think we're going to go. No, actually, I want to keep the Auspicious Starrix in case we get another land. So we'll see what we get. Then we can potentially do stuff. Because ideally you want to... There's a questing beast. Okay, we have a target for Binding the Old Gods. They're not going to do much there, but here's Binding the Old Gods time. And we're going to go ahead and discard this Bonecrusher Giant. And play the Zagoth Triome. Attack with Scavenging Ooze. So next turn's Binding the Old Gods is going to get us another land out of the deck. We might end up using another Binding the Old Gods if they play something big like their Lovestruck Beast. Or a Gold Span Dragon. We're going to get ourselves a Zagoth Triome. And then we're going to mutate on top of our Scavenging Ooze. Hopefully it's not a land. We now have a 7/7. Oh, it's a freaking land, but we can duress them, I suppose, because of that. Which is a whiff. I'm going to keep this Binding the Old Gods. Shouldn't be surprised by that. That keeps them in the game. Next turn we destroy the Gold Span Dragon with our other Binding the Old Gods. Or we could do the questing beast, I suppose. Hope you can get some more removal for the Goldspan Dragon, because otherwise that could be problematic to say the least. Another questing beast! Are you serious? Come on! What do you mean, oops? You're just being trolly. Oh, because it's legendary. Yeah, that's a good point. I completely forgot questing beast was legendary. Anyone else find that? Here's Kroxa! Let's exile their questing beasts. Also keeps us alive from the Goldspan Dragon too. Oh, that's a Brushfire Elemental. That was a bit of an accident there. We really need to get rid of this Goldspan Dragon, but they keep putting stuff in our way, so that doesn't help. And there's the Great Henge. Dang it. They got it out. This just makes things even more awkward now. We really need to escape our Kroxa. And there's an Innkeeper. We're now 2-2. Chump blockers for days, man. Sheesh. Get a Kextra Triumph this time. We can't escape Kroxa this turn, so we'll hang on. You see, leave my green mana open if possible. Black. 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 Liliana. Okay, we have 4 to potentially. We can use it to get rid of the Goldspan Dragon. Now I think about it.
Too much.
That works. This time say no attacks. We may have to sacrifice our Magmatic Channeler here. That'll be the last. No, we would need another card after that, wouldn't we? Okay. Okay, Fiend Artisan is going to come down. We'll have opponent's discard.
Think too much.
Exile from their graveyard. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and attack with our Magmatic Channeler, which has Death Touch this turn, thanks to Binding the Old Gods. Yeah, I'm not surprised, that's how they've been doing it all game, really. So we really need to sort of do this. That will sort of hopefully try and negate the Great Henge somewhat. And right, let's just do this. Apart from anything else, we gain 1 life because of it, so... Well, the Lovestruck Beast can't attack, so there is that to consider. And we can escape a Kroxa. This will unfortunately nerf our Fiend Artisan, but they seem to be out of chunk blockers. apart from the Lovestruck Beast. So I think we're going to go ahead and Magmatic Channeler to discard our Liliana, Wake of the Dead. Exile 2 more cards. Another Magmatic Channeler. Okay. Make them lose 3 life.
Sorry for your loss.
Force them to attack with Auspicious Starrix. Yep, they chump blocked, unsurprisingly. They're going to gain 2 life from the Great Henge. I think we might be able to win this one. Yeah! There we go. Got him. And that's standard JUND. Standard, fair and balanced magic. All served up into one nice deck. On to the next game. Okay, we're going second yet again. There was another game that I decided not to include in this because it didn't go very well at all either. We've got a Duress and a Liliana Steward. I think the Duress is better in this instance. Oh, we're going to keep this. I may come to regret that, but we've got a lot of interaction and building up to a Binding the Old Gods eventually, so... And we've got another Temple of Abandon, so is it another Gruul deck? It might be a Teamer or something else. Maybe even Naya or something. Okay, we're going to go ahead and find out what they're playing. So let's put this down and Duress them. And we're going to get rid of their Tibalt's Trickery. And I think they're going to concede because we did that. So yeah, it's a Teamer, Tibalt's Trickery, Genesis Automaton deck. So we've stopped the combo from going off, really. I'm not sure if they know what to do right now. Probably just wait, I would guess. So we're going to go ahead and scry. Another land. I'm going to put that to the bottom, actually. Liliana Steward. So we're forcing them to take the slow route, really. Unless they're going to... In fact, they're going to put out a Stonecore Serpent in front of us. So in response to that, we're going to make them discard a card. And kill their Stonecore Serpent. So they're down to just 4 cards in hand now. A lot of high cost stuff, and they're really relying on that zero mana Tibalt's Trickery combo. Okay, I think we can put out an Immerstern Skullcairn now, and then cast a Clothis. So we can start draining them somewhat. They cannot play anything right now. We're going to go ahead and exile their Tibalt's Trickery. And then we're going to go ahead and cast a Magmatic Channeler. We can't use the ability yet, so we're just going to put this down on green because we need at least one normal green source, I think. And then we'll put this down on red later. Is that enough for Genesis? Oh, and they have a Vorinclex. Oh boy! It has haste. Wow. Okay, that's really bad. Fortunately, we have removal for the Vorinclex, so. Wait, hang on. Oh, because of the Vorinclex's ability doesn't work there, really. Okay, right. Well, now we'll just have to discard this Liliana's Steward. and pick Kroxa. So now we play it like this. Kroxa comes in. Bonecrusher is really scary though. I mean, the advantage we do have get to have this Binding the Old Gods do on. Oh, fun! A Genesis Ultimatum. And they bring out Ugin, Kiora, Best of the Sea Gods, and more lads. So yeah, that's. Oh my goodness, they already tapped out because of Vortex. Wow, Vortex, and they've ultimated Ugin already. Wow. This is the first time I've ever played against a Vortex, I will admit, and it is pretty insane. Okay, so we can't really loot for the Kroxa with Magmatic Channeler, so we're gonna have to. Another Kiora Best of Sea God. What? Okay, this is ridiculous. We have an Immerstern Predator, but I think it's not going to be enough. We're going to sack the Magmatic Channeler if needs be, but then I think we're dead on board anyway, so what does it really matter? We'll just have to use it as a chump blocker. Actually, none of that matters because they're just going to take all our stuff, so. Not much I could do there, but pretty impressive blowout from the opponents there, so. This might be more a showcase of their deck than our deck, but I think you're going to see a bit of what our deck can do. On to the next game. Okay, first, we have Bloodchief first in hand, so if needs be, we'll play that. If not, we have the tap land, so yeah. Tap land it is then. Playing loads of tap lands here. Yeah, I think I might put too many tap lands in the deck. That's might have counted against me. If they have one timer usage already, we're just gonna keep putting tap lands down until they play something. Oh, Narset. Okay. We're gonna stop the Narset. Okay, this turn we're gonna play our pathway now. Play it on the red side. And then we're going to go ahead and Binding the Old Gods to destroy Narset.
I know when to concede.
That'll allow us to ramp even further. And right from Q, there's an Auspicious Starrix. So we're going to catch your Triumph. Put this down. Kroxa, nice. Okay, Bonecrusher Giant. Unfortunately, they have a move for it. Dang it! So we won't get the full benefit of Binding the Old Gods, but we got a good amount out of it anyway, so. Dream Trawler, come on! Scavenging Ooze. Now we could have actually forced him to tap out. So actually, do we want to? I think we're not gonna make much sense. So Kroxa's gonna come down to try and get him to discard cards. See if we can try and get rid of their hand. That will make things easier for their. It will make things easier to try and stop the Dream Trawler if necessary, but then again they just draw so many cards with Dream Trawler it probably doesn't even matter, and they gain so much life from the stupid thing because it's stupidly overpowered. Right, I think we're going to mutate Auspicious Starrix. And they cast a Shark Typhoon. Oh no. See, this is the problem with this deck. It's not playing blue. And they're tapped out so they can't counter it. Admittedly they're about to flood the board with massive amounts of value, but please let me a land. Ah, there's a freaking land. Dang it! I might as well attack. Really? Oh, okay, that makes sense. And going to the grave, I'm going to exile instead of the graveyard as well, so that doesn't help. Academy's Awakening could revive two things, but do we want to do that? First, let's just clear out the sharks. And use Nissa to, it can be anything really, I guess. Set the Zagoth Triome. Unfortunately, this Nissa does not give the lands vigilance, which is what made the other Nissa so good. We'll do this to protect our Nissa. So unless they have additional draw, they might not die to the Dream Trawler. However, it's looking pretty bleak here. Oh, for goodness sake. Well, this is dead. But we can now escape Kroxa because of it, so there's always an upside. Not that we can do much about it when they have all flying creatures. Of course, this also makes our Fiend Artisan pretty bad now. We're going to keep it in hand anyway, just in case. And we're going to be down to 1, unless they draw something else. Sheesh. Dream Trawler is such a stupidly broken card. And they have an Ugin as well. Okay, well that's game then.
My greatest creation.
Opponent goes first, but we have the Liliana, Stewart and Kroxa play. So, that being said, we do not have the other land for such a play to occur. Okay, I think there's too few lands, so I'm actually going to mulligan this. A bit better. I think there's a better curve actually. We're going to put the Agadeem's Awakening to the bottom. So yeah, we'll keep this. Put Agadeem to the bottom. And then try and start discarding our opponent's hand. I've got to say hello to our opponent because this is they did so. Rest them now. Give them the warm greeting, then just be annoying to them. Go ready your counter spell. Trucks the time, baby! I should never say that again. What's the other card in their hand that can make them want to... Oh, I think they're just choosing, aren't they? They're going to get rid of the Shackles of Trickery. So that's something at least. Mirror Shield coming down. Now for another Kroxa. And we're starting to run out of non-land cards, so we really need to draw a land next turn. I'm kind of glad I put the Agadeem's Awakening to the bottom now. They're saying good game already, but little do they know my hand is full of lands. So yeah, what we're going to do is, this is where having Triumphs comes in real handy, because we can now cycle this Ketria Triumph away. And there's a Magmatic Channeler. See? This is why you should run Triumphs in decks, even if they are not full colours if necessary, because they can provide a tremendous amount of cycling and stop you from flooding out so much. With a Fiend Artisan. So Liliana Steward, Magmatic Channeler. The Chrome War, come on! Oh man, that's just something from discarding, isn't it? Yikes. This is annoying. We'll probably actually loot here. Bloodchief first. Oh, but that's X-proof, isn't it? So I can't really target that. But if we target our own Liliana Steward, that means the Fiend Artisan gets pumped to a 4/4. They're going to cast Calafe. Not a card you see very often, though I do run it in my Utopia Commander deck for its ability to make targeting spells cost more. Maybe we could have put the Recurring Ward instead, actually. We take 4, but we lose Fiend Artisan. So next time we're going to escape Kroxa instead. Okay, let's celebrate. And yet another game we're being out-pressured. I sometimes wonder why I even bother.
Fine. I can see I'm not wanted.
Make sure to not get rid of the creatures so that we can keep our Fiend Artisan buffed. I really missed the escape animation, dang it. That was cool. I guess they must have removed it so it works on mobiles. That's the only reason I can think about. I know they got faster. But well, chances are we're never attacking with this Kroxa. Because Thassa will just tap it down every single turn. Does it really matter who you exile with Thassa? Because I don't think there's any enter the battlefield effects to take advantage of that. Ooh, a Bloodchief Thirst. I think we're going to go ahead and get rid of the Calafe, which is going to... Oh wait, yeah, that's... So we should be able to survive the fact that we attack with 6. So things have actually turned out pretty well in the end. It didn't look great a moment or so ago, but I think they'll probably just hold back and defend against the Kroxa now. They're out of cards, so that is a nice bonus to have. I don't see the benefit of that personally, but okay. There's probably something else in your deck that benefits a lot more from this. Okay, Fiend Artisan. They probably will tap down my Kroxa to prevent from attacking, now I think about it. In fact, I was saying that just a moment ago, so... Fortunately, they can only tap down one creature at a time, so we just have to hope that they don't get anything that can remove one of our creatures. Because if we lose this from here, I'll be so disappointed. They obviously have something because they're attacking with both creatures. Oh, no, I fell for the bait. I should have just well, they have one card in hand though. Not sure what it could be, but keep playing at these things, I think. Okay, they'll tap down one of my creatures with Thassa. I will just attack with Fiend Artisan. And I don't think we have an Immis turn, do we? Nope. So yeah, this is going to be a bit annoying because we cannot kill this Mischievous Chimera because it has hexproof because of Mirror Shield. And every time we can only attack with one creature because of Thassa. So, bit of a stalemate here. And they can't tap down my Kroxa this turn though. So there is that. Because Thassa's tap ability is 4 mana. So they have to not attack me this turn. Okay, we'll play a Clothis. Yep! They snookered themselves by trying to get a Fiend Artisan. And the Clothis, I think, just pretty much assures victory. So yeah, it was a very long drawn out game. I thought we were in trouble for a moment there, but I think we actually win because of Clothis, who's going to exile a non-land card, and we win the game. And that's victory thanks to Clothis, God of Destiny. I told you putting this card in the deck was a really good idea, and it's paid off here with another victory. And I think that's going to wrap it up. So we're going to go to the outro. But before we do the outro, I'd like to introduce something new to these videos. Here's a blooper reel of every failed attempt to try and win a game with this deck. And some successful ones, which I didn't count really. Now I'm going to use their Faceless Haven to turn into a creature and attack with it. Now we'll escape Kroxa. Please don't have a counter spell. Please don't have a counter spell. Please don't have a counter spell. I missed the escape animation. Anyone else do? And it resolves. Awesome. What else do they have in their hand? Oh, come on. Yeesh. There you have it. Faceless Haven coming in. This turns sour real fast. Oh, come on! Come on! Ag! This is getting ridiculous now. We're just going to lose to Faceless Haven. Can we actually kill the... Oh, we can't kill the Brazen Brawler. Bummer! Stupid freaking fairies, dang it! Ag! So yeah, we're going to start like this, and we're going to put a Liliana Steward down first.
2 hours later.
Although I swear I've seen this Barry K person before online. How is this deck again? Have I run into the same deck twice in one day? Yeah, it's the same deck. Okay, we'll have to remove this from the footage then. Potentially. And that's game. Let's go risky keep. But we're going to do it. They've got a Stonecore Serpent. Oh, for goodness sake, it's another Tibalt's Trickery deck, isn't it? Worst time to be land screwed ever. Freaking foul. Actually, if we get one more land, we can screw the Ugin. I think it says, they just ultimated Ugin, so, cut that one out. So now we can put this down and rest our opponents. Another freaking Tibalt's Trickery deck. I've faced, this is the third one I've faced, this, you won't be seeing all of the attempts on it. I think I can see anyway. Okay, so that was the deck, and I think we hit the curse on the camera today because beforehand this deck was doing quite decently actually. I was winning a good amount of games in play queue with this deck, and then I turned the camera on and it was just loss after loss after loss, and I think what might be the problem was the sheer amount of tapped lands I was playing in the deck, because we had the Skull Cairn, but we also had 2 Ketcher Triumphs, 4 Zagoth Triumphs, and 3 Temple of Malice. They do help fixing somewhat, but maybe I should probably not be playing too many of these tapped lands, because it was causing problems regarding certain land types coming out. So you probably better replace some of them with basic lands of the respective types. So yeah, apart from that, you still got to see the deck has a lot of variety and mix up in its gameplay. It can do various different things, all revolving around the graveyard, admittedly, but different things had different value to us. So I'd probably add another Clothis to the deck if you wanted to. I'm not quite sure what I would get rid of, but something, I would presume. So yeah, I think that's... Well, so the other cards you can add to the deck, really, like Goldspan Dragon. It pretty much goes in any red deck these days, so yeah, that's... I wanted to try out Emma Stern's Predator. This was actually the first time I actually put it in the deck as recording the video today. I only recently got the card because I only recently acquired all of the pathways and finished my collection. So that's good news for you, because that means there's more decks coming forward and I can actually properly build them and craft them rather than having to worry about collecting all the lands first. We also, I used to try having to bind the old gods, but I think what happened is when we got out pressured on board, it was really difficult to come back from. We really needed a board wipe. So something like Storm's Wrath, or something like Extinction Event. But then again, Extinction Event does Exile, so really I think Storm's Wrath is better. I was originally running it in the deck, but I wanted to try out binding the old gods for a bit of ramp. Storm's Wrath admittedly does go well with Magmatic Channeler, although it would kill the Channeler, so maybe not in that case, but for later deployment I suppose it does. What else? I can't think of much else to say really, but yeah, it was just a fun attempt to try and recreate the famous fair and balanced modern JUND deck, but using standard cards. And it was a fun deck and does put up some results and can remove opponent's creatures quite a bit, but we're lacking some of the functionality that the modern JUND deck has, or one variant anyway. I went off one deck this for my JUND deck that's probably outdated by now. It's probably changed a bit thanks to other cards coming, but then again, JUND has had a bit of famous being the deck that's been like that and people will play no matter what. So I mean, JUND has never been the best modern deck really, so well, maybe it was towards the start, but not now. But anyway, that was standard JUND. So thank you for watching this video. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please share this with your friends so we can get more people watching the videos. Please subscribe to the channel for more gaming and TCG content, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when new videos come out. Also follow me on Twitter at GenericAperson, all one word. Thank you for watching. I've been A Person, goodbye.